Good evening, everyone. It is 5:30, and I'd like to call the April 23rd, 2026 work session of the Stanton City Council to order. Would a member of City Council like to make a motion to approve the work session and regular meeting agendas?
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the work session and regular meeting agendas as presented.
Thank you, Councilor Overholzer. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any discussion? Mr. Blair, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Park,
Aye.
Mr. Overholzer,
Aye.
Ms. Woods.
Aye.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Arrowood,
Aye.
Mayor Edwards.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Blair. Moving straight into item 2. This evening, we have a demonstration. I'm very excited about this, I have to say. A demonstration of progressing the Staunton Plan's interactive dashboard. Ms. Beauregard, please.
So no pressure.
No, not at all, Alex.
Mr. Eford. Alex Eford is our intern. He's been interning with us since January. He's a Virginia Tech student. Go Hokies. And he's been working on this basically since he started, because right after he started, you all adopted your latest Stanton plan. And one of his main project is to develop a dashboard for the city to track progress of your goals and objectives. So I'm very excited to have Mr. Eford present this to you all tonight and answer any questions. And this is a living dashboard, so it will change often. And as we kind of get used to doing this, it'll get better and better. So I'm very excited.
Yes, thank you. Intern extraordinaire. Good evening.
I'll take that. I appreciate it. Yes,
and
thank you, Ms.
welcome.
Beauregard. Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I did have to wear my VT pin today
Of
just
course.
to show off
Go
the
Hokies.
support. So yeah, I'm going to show you off this dashboard that I've really been working on for the last couple of months, really, but it's really gotten into high gear in these last couple of weeks for the Staunton plan. I think you all are familiar with that. The strategic plan that you all passed just a couple months ago. So kind of like Mr. Knight had a couple weeks ago with his projects map, I just want to share with you the homepage that we have to share how you can get to it. There's really 2 ways. I want to show off our search tool again, because just to reiterate, it is pretty awesome. So just Staunton plan, if I can type correctly, it is literally the first option for this page. And then if you also want to get to it, up here on the top, government, under city council, Staunton plan, it's right there. It is super easy to get to it. So this is the page that we've had for the last couple of months that shows the vision, the values, and then our strategic areas. You may remember we had a little accordion thing on here that talked about the strategic areas. We've now replaced that with this beautiful dashboard that we have for what we are calling progressing the Staunton plan. So all the priorities, the strategic areas now live in here. We have the 4 boxes here for our strategic areas: economically vibrant, resilient and sustainable, healthy, and then informed and engaged. That once you click them, it takes you to the dashboard. So I'm just going to run through this with y'all kind of really quickly, but stop me if you have any questions, feedback whatsoever at all. But for the sake of time, I'm going to run this through for you all. And then this is live on the website right now, so you all can go back, and anybody can go back actually and take a peek at what we've got going on. So I'll start here with economically vibrant, our first strategic area that really talks about strengthening our economic vitality, right? And our well-being. So the first priority that you all had was completing the city's economic development website, that new update, and then supporting and promoting the enterprise zone incentives program. So the metrics that we have for this, the Staunton business website is complete. This is a link, and there's a lot of links actually in this dashboard that takes you straight to the website. If you haven't checked it out, it looks really nice. So there are a lot of links in this dashboard, which I think is really cool because it really showcases the work that our departments are doing, which is which is awesome. In the middle here, we've got business licenses issued by the city. This comes to me from Ms. DeMeo, Ms. Blythe, that shows you from the last couple of years here on this chart by quarter the number of business licenses that have been issued by the city. This really tall line I'll show you all here is actually Q1 from 2026, the most recent quarter, 122 business licenses that were issued. I was told that is a record number. So we get to start off on a really positive note. That's awesome. And then we also talk about the industrial prospects that our ED team assisted both for Staunton Crossing and for Green Hill Technology Park by quarter as well. That Enterprise Zone Incentives Program, they just wrapped up the application process for that. So I'm hoping pretty soon we'll be able to put a scorecard in here that shows you the number of applications that they got for that program as well. I think that'd be really cool.
I'll just jump in here and say I really appreciate this is something we've needed, are these metrics that look at long-term trends. The year-to-date figures per quarter comparison with the previous period, the previous year, that's really helpful to understand trends. And so I'm very appreciative of that. Industrial prospects as well. The one thing I don't see, I don't know that it's necessary really to provide it for the general public on this page, but I think it's helpful for us, is metrics related to the Staunton Business website. That is, we spend a significant amount of money on a specialized tool implementing that, and just to be able to see, I don't know what the best metrics are, hits, visits, time spent on the site, queries generated from the website, things like that. I think the council would appreciate seeing that.
Totally. And we definitely talked about that in the meetings that we had because it's so new. We're just getting that data out. But as the months go by, I think we'll be able to build a chart that shows you, website hits, most viewed pages, things like that too.
But hopefully we've identified those metrics that we want to track relative to what makes the website successful or not.
Yes. Yes, sir. All right. So our awesome housing coordinator extraordinaire, Miss Joyce, helped me with all this for our Staunton Housing Commission. We have obviously implemented the Housing Commission. They've already had 2 meetings now. I wanted to highlight that their next meeting is July 2nd in the caucus room at 5:30. And then the goals that they've got here too for the Housing Commission, just some basics here in this rectangle here to the right, focusing on producing housing, preserving housing, and providing housing stability as well. I know they've got a lot of work that they're going to be doing. Down here for our holistic plan for downtown Staunton, I wanted to highlight the CIP page. I know it's kind of hard to read here, but this is for the revisioning of downtown Staunton. If you click this, it will take you to the CIP, so you can go to that page, which I've marked here, page 68. We're still trying to work on getting to that exact page, but just for now, we're having the numbers so that you can easily go to that to learn more information about that. But a couple of the metrics that we kind of found, the HSIP intersections, which I'm not going to spend too much time on because Ms. Wilson back there is going to present that to you all in just a second. But our shop and dine out participating businesses as well, because expansions and improvements to shop and dine out is on here as well. So starting in 2020, when it was only restaurants, and then seeing the number of participating businesses grow to where we are 36 participating businesses for this year, which is really extraordinary downtown.
Can I ask, how does a business become a participating business? What's involved there? That you may not be the person to
You want me to
answer.
talk about that? We have a whole process. We have agreements that they sign. We have so that they basically essentially borrow their space on Beverly. And if they're a restaurant, that there adds an ABC license aspect to that. So we have a whole process that we've developed over the years, and they're fully engaged in that, and they understand exactly what has to happen each week. Even the rules about how soon they can set up after the bollards go up, after the cars are moved. So anybody on Beverly between Lewis and Market can participate. And as Mr. Eford said, it used to be just restaurants, but now it's retail and nonprofits. So like the LGBTQ Center is participating this year. And if they want to put a table out in front of their building, they can do that. So it has expanded over the years from the original intent. Yep.
I could ask a lot more, but just I'll stop with this. What would you say is roughly the percentage of businesses in that space that are participating?
That is a great question. I don't know.
Okay.
We can try to, we can easily find that out though.
Thank you.
So, and I'll also note here on our little graphs that we create, we wanted to keep it clean. So once you hover over that year, you can see that metric really easily, which I think is really intuitive and
Isn't that the number?
cool. So our next priority down here for the strategic area for identifying those opportunities for the J&DR courthouse property and then Booker T. Of course, you all have seen a couple of presentations last month in the work sessions that were presented about the J&DR courthouse property. So this is one of those images that we got from the presentation. So once you click that image, that will take you to the presentation so that you're easily able to take a look at the latest update we have for that. And then for Booker T, we don't have much on that yet, but that is in the CIP, that reimagined Booker T Washington School. So once again, once you click that image, that'll link out to the CIP page so that can give you more information on when that funding is scheduled to come. And then we also have, as you may recall, our Beyond 2026 priorities as well that kind of extend beyond this calendar year. So evaluating and updating the city code. We don't have much on that, so I kind of just made this little template here for that. We are working on those. I have been told that the riparian buffer ordinance, the downtown zoning ordinance, a lot of that stuff is coming soon. So when that does come out, we'll be able to easily put those in there, but that's just a little template space for now. So then on this left side here, to get to the next strategic area, I'll just click that out, and then we can head over to resilient and sustainable. So this strategic area really talks about our livability, our environmental stewardship by addressing that aging infrastructure, our facility needs, and protecting natural resources. Starting with Uniontown, which I know has definitely been a priority the last couple of years. That water and sewer project design currently underway. We don't have many metrics to report on yet. When we do, we'll obviously be able to put those in here. But I wanted to obviously highlight the neighborhood action plan that I'm sure you all are familiar with, but anyone looking at this can easily click that and go straight to the plan once it loads. And then the CIP pages here for the water extension and the sewer extension as well. For decreasing landfill waste, this is one that I've been working on with Mr. Knight a little bit recently, that he presented in the last work session that we had, talking about our composting initiative that we're currently undergoing those preliminary discussions. And then obviously you can link the image links to that presentation that we gave at the last work session. And then also talking about that cigarette tax increase for the budget that you all will vote on tonight. That is going to give us $15,000 in the next fiscal year so we can do pilot programs and outreach as well. And then for our Beyond 2026 priorities here, our utility rate adjustments, you all have seen these numbers. Ms. Moyers and Ms. Beauregard showed you these for the budget presentations. This just shows you our new utility rates in kind of a cleaner format, I guess. But I also wanted to put this data that you have already seen as well. I know it's kind of small. I tried to blow it up as much as possible here for the bi-monthly impact on the average household, just to show that even with the new rates, we are still much lower than our neighboring localities. And then finally, for our sustainability plan that is currently in the CIP, we don't have any updates on that since it is in the CIP, but I wanted to provide some more context around that and make sure people can link to that in the CIP as well. So we're kind of halfway through. So I wanted to stop for any questions, feedback, if you all had any, or I can keep going.
You have a terrific new tool in the landfill area for people to be able to search for material types to see whether they're recyclable, and maybe not expressly part of this Staunton plan page, but it's a terrific resource.
It's coming. Just wait. We're not done yet. That'll be on here. Okay.
It's available now.
Yes. So For our healthy community strategic area, obviously enhancing our quality of life by supporting all these opportunities. For our pedestrian and bicycle plan and greenways plan, I wanted to highlight one of the projects that's currently in development with VDOT, that Commerce Road Shared Use Path. They had a public hearing in here a couple of weeks ago. That Commerce Road in between downtown and the Statler Boulevard intersection. So when you click the image, that actually takes you to VDOT's project page that can give you more information on that. So again, accessible, another quick way to get to this information. They've got some really good information there as well. And then that estimated start date isn't for a little while, but that's one of the projects I wanted to highlight there. We haven't gotten to consolidating the bicycle and pedestrian plan and the greenways plan yet, but again, I wanted to give any user who uses this the quick opportunity to just link to these plans. So we can click these images and it'll take you straight to the wonderful pedestrian and bicycle plan. So for beyond 2026, for a healthy community, we've got starting with the Parks and Rec Master Plan, which is funded in the FY 2027 budget in the CIP. So obviously, once that gets done in the next fiscal year, we'll have more information to report out for here. But I also wanted to highlight for this year that we've got the expanded summer hours for both the Gypsy Hill and the Montgomery Hall Park pools that are funded in the budget, barring anything else. And then our new pool house as well, which this is, I don't think I can zoom in there, but that's a new picture I got from Mr. Knight of our new pool house. It's really coming together nicely. It's going to be ready for the season. So I wanted to highlight that as well. And then we've got a couple priorities down here for our coordination with the school system, and then for our public arts program, which we don't have any updates on yet, but we will soon. And then finally, our last strategic area, but honestly, I think at least in my time in the city manager's office, I think I've spent the most on this, really ensuring that our residents have timely, accurate, and meaningful information about city programs and services. We've really been focusing on this this winter and spring, I know, in the office. This first priority, talking about our comprehensive plan, this 2-year development essentially of this new 2045 comprehensive plan. Just wanted to give a little bit more context to that. When you click this image, you're able to go to the story map on ArcGIS of the comprehensive plan. This is, if you scroll through this is actually an incredible little site that we have. So I would definitely recommend if you do that on your own time. And then just talking about the next steps as well, drafting that plan right now, the June 3rd special meeting that we'll have in the library for the comp plan, and then hopefully later this year, getting that adopted and ready to go. For improving access to and awareness of information resources, this has really been the big focus, at least for my internship this spring. This interactive capital projects map that Mr. Knight just showed you all a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to highlight that as well because this thing is actually awesome. So you can click that image, it'll take you straight to it with the disclaimer. And then Citizen University as well. The 5th year of Citizen University is actually coming this fall. I wanted to highlight that as well. Ms. Beauregard couldn't even believe it that we've done 5 years already.
I know, I actually questioned it and they corrected me, so.
I didn't realize either. I put a different number. I mean, that's pretty incredible. And so then for our Beyond 2026 initiatives for our final strategic area, I wanted to mention the emergency alerts upgrades. We have I don't know if you all have seen the update to this page, but now we have these little tables that easily you can sign up for the emergency alerts, the e-notifications, and the flood awareness ones as well, which I think is really intuitive and useful. And then pretty soon, we're going to be able to send wireless emergency alerts to residents as part of that SAM system. So hopefully we'll have that up and ready soon. And then a new permitting and licensing portal and community development, civic access, which is going to be able to allow you to submit applications for permits and licenses online finally. So that's going to be a big adjustment, and that is coming really soon, actually, May 5th. And then final priority here on the dashboard, talking about AI. We just wanted to give a little quick disclaimer about how we're definitely exploring how our emerging technologies could fit in our day-to-day workflow, but also using those responsibly, i.e. not putting in private information into these external tools. But as Councilman Overholzer was just referencing, we do have this brand new interactive recycling tool that was built with the help of artificial intelligence that is now live on the website. So I wanted to help showcase this just a little bit. So this little tool, and I think Mr. Knight alluded to this back in our last meeting, here on the recycling page, if you scroll all the way down, there is this new widget called the recycling drop-off item lookup, which will allow you to look up a lot of really any item and see if we recycle it at the landfill. So I can put in, let's say, pizza box, not accepted because that grease soaks into the cardboard. So you can compost those or trash those. So the really cool thing about this is that it tells you if it's recycled. If it is like a cardboard box, it tells you which bin it goes in. And then it also gives you a little description, which is very helpful to prepare it if it is, and if not, where can I take it as well? So with that, that is the new progressing the Staunton plan dashboard that we have here. This really started out as a really KPI, key performance indicator, metric tracker, tracking a lot of data, but I think it really evolved into something that allowed us to highlight a lot of the good work that our departments are doing all across the city, which I found really enlightening, helpful, I think, not just for me, but for everyone, our staff, and I hope residents and you all as well. So with that, questions, feedback, I'm open to anything.
Well, it's great to have a multifaceted tool available for everybody to direct people to when they're looking for things. It's a lot easier than telling them to call some person and ask a question, But it could come to that for some specifics, but it's great to have this as a jump off spot.
Are you confident you have a good mechanism to keep this updated? Obviously, the usefulness is directly related to the currency of the information. It's terrific right now, but it needs to stay.
Yes. So this is really built on, for at least for the data, like these metrics, there is a Google Sheet backend that you can easily input into. So once I'm gone, that can easily be inputted and then it'll automatically update. The really big part was just building the foundation, the bones of this. But now we have a really solid template for anyone can go in our staff and now easily update this, especially when we update the strategic plan, we update those priorities, we can easily do that now in this template. So I'm really confident that we've got a really good foundation that we can build on later on.
Have you tested this on mobile devices? It's pretty busy with a lot of graphics. Does it translate well to the small form factor?
So when you see it on the website right now, you can it cuts off half of it, but you can easily put it into full screen on your phone, and then you can see it and zoom in. And so then it actually looks quite good. So better than I was thinking, actually. I was kind of thinking worst case, so better than I thought.
Nowadays, most people are going to be using this for quick access.
Exactly.
Any other questions for Alex? Anyway, we have a couple more minutes before. Will this platform apply, or this dashboard apply to other departments where we can update, or will other information just be continually added to this dashboard? Because the areas don't comprise kind of everything. For example, I'm just thinking library, parks and rec, things that could be added in the future, or would that be live in a different area?
If it's in the Staunton plan, any
This is just
updates?
for Staunton plan.
Yeah, so any updates that you all would give, it would
Right.
absolutely could. But this is part of a Google service that I built this on. So there could easily be something else that could be housed somewhere else on the website that could be built similar to this as well.
So the other thing Mr.
Mhm.
Eford is working on though is measures for individual departments and
Mhm.
helping to improve those. So while this is just for the Staunton plan,
Mhm.
I'm sure eventually, once he works, kind of finalizes his work on this and then keeps working on the other piece for the budget, that perhaps something could be rolled out that looks like this for individual departments, but
Yeah.
we're not quite there yet.
Yeah,
So he's
no,
working on just
certainly.
kind of what the measures are for the departments right now. And then once we kind of land on those, then we can look at how they're
Yeah.
communicated out, besides just being in the budget document.
And that's another project where department heads have been super helpful with me getting data that really highlights the work that they are doing. So I think it's important to kind of showcase that to the public.
Well, that's great collaborative work, and I thank you so much. I
very
think on
much.
behalf of council, thank you for your work.
It's
We look forward
helpful.
to seeing the continuation of this wonderful work. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're moving on to item 3, an update on Beverly Street demonstration project and the Highway Safety Improvement Program intersections. Ms. Beauregard.
Yes, Ms. Susan Wilson, our transportation planner, is here this evening. Remember, not that long ago, can't remember exactly when, we brought this forward to you to let you know that things were moving along. We've had the money in the queue for a couple of years now, but now we're getting ready to start the pilot on Beverly. And so Ms. Wilson's going to talk you through that. And you also did a walk around, I don't know, last month or not that long ago with Ms. Wilson after the snow. It definitely was after the snow when that happened. I remember now. So she's going to update you on the pilot and answer any questions you have.
It was
Thank
cold.
you.
It was
Yeah.
still cold. Yeah, but it was
Yes, you-
definitely after the snow.
I recall. Good evening, Ms. Wilson. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. So I wanted to provide you an update on where we are on the HSIP intersections and also let you know about the demonstration project that's going to be coming up soon along 2 blocks of Beverly Street. So back in January, I think it was actually January 8th, we presented to you on the Highway Safety Improvement Program intersections and how those improvements came out of a study that VDOT completed for the city back in 2022. And as a reminder, these are the 9 intersections that we are designing improvements for. 3 of them are along Johnson Street between Central Avenue and New Street, and the 6 others are along Beverly Street between Lewis Street and Market Street. So all the intersections that I just showed on the previous slide will receive improvements that increase safety for both pedestrians and drivers. The signalized intersections will get pedestrian push buttons, which they don't have now. And then also receive the walk, don't walk signals on all corners, which all corners don't have those now. And then they'll also receive traffic signal equipment that'll be changed out with new. So all the intersections are going to be upgraded with higher visibility crosswalks than what we currently have in place, as well as new ADA ramps. The intersections that are on Beverly Street are going to have the ramps installed on the curb extensions, which we presented on last time and then discussed out in the fields. So we received the 30% plans for the design of these intersections very recently, and we've sent them out to various city departments for their review and comment, as well as sharing them with VDOT for their review. We will be holding a public hearing for these intersections, ideally out here in the lobby on the first floor of City Hall. We haven't set a date yet for the hearing, but it's likely going to be during the month of June. We do aim to advertise for construction next summer, which is summer of 2027, which would give us ideally a fall start for construction. We do want to ensure that the work on the tunnels has wrapped up by that time, just because the projects are so close to each other. We don't want to have any issues. And as far as construction timeline, we do think it would be about 12 to 18 months for completing all the intersections. The city's website does have the project webpage up for information about these intersection improvements. And of course, we'll continue to keep that information updated. So switching gears a little bit, knowing that the intersection improvements along Beverly Street are going to give us an opportunity to consider reallocating some of the street space for other purposes. We applied for and were selected to participate in a cohort of Virginia communities that are receiving technical assistance and a small grant to try out an idea. And so our idea, of course, is along Beverly Street. And our timeline is this summer. So for the month of June and along 2 blocks of Beverly Street, we are going to close the right travel lane to cars and give it over to pedestrians in what we're calling the Beverly Street Demonstration Project. This map shows the blocks that the demonstration will be located on, which are the 2 blocks between Augusta and Market Streets. So we're going to be using flexible delineator posts like what we have currently in the turn lane on Johnson Street in front of the wharf parking area. But my caveat on that is they won't be spaced as closely as those are. So we're going to use those to block off the right travel lane from cars. Again, for the entire month of June. And in that space, we're going to be placing seating and benches, some plants, and hopefully some other amenities to create an inviting space where people want to spend time. We do have a very small budget for this effort, and it's very much DIY. And so the sidewalk extension, of course, is still going to be on street level. It's not going to be on sidewalk level. But with us adding benches and introducing some plants and other landscaping in that space, it's the 2 major amenities that we don't have room for on the current sidewalk is what we're trying to provide space for. So our partners on this effort are the Virginia Walkability Action Institute, and that is through the Virginia Department of Health. They are the source of the technical assistance and our funding for this. Staff for the CSPDC have served as our co-lead in the design and logistics, and we're relying on SDDA and the Tourism Office for project awareness and messaging with businesses and with visitors. City departments that are working on this effort include Public Works, Community Development, and the City Manager's Office. This effort kicked off in mid-January, which was right after we applied, which was right before we found out that we got the grant. It's been a very fast-paced program, but we kicked off with a convening of the selected communities for 2 days in Richmond. And then in mid-March, we hosted a site visit on Beverly Street with the Department of Health and Equitable Cities, who's serving as the technical assistance support. We held 2 different sessions with them when they were in town, first with staff and our partners, just discussing the demonstration project and talking through our plans. And that was followed up by a walk to the project area to talk about our approach and to visualize what the setup would look like. We then did the same thing with the members of the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. So this is our planned timeline from here going forward. So between now and June 1st, we have a pre-project survey that is open and it's available on the website, which I'll show on the next slide. But during the month of May, which of course is next week, we are going to start purchasing supplies and assembling street furniture. And June 1st is the first day of this effort. It is the day that we are going to install the delineator post as well as setting out seating and other elements. We are also planning on a kickoff and ribbon cutting for that afternoon. And again, the entire month of June is when this demonstration project is going to be in place. So this is definitely still in draft form and really, really hard to see. But what I wanted to show you on this is the the vision that we've been working on for what this space would look like. And the gray area is the part that I think is easiest to see, and that's what we really wanted to draw your attention to. But that is the space that we are closing off to vehicle travel and giving over to pedestrians. And I wanted to highlight too, on both of those blocks, the space in between where the gray area drops off, and that is a loading zone, delivery zone that we are setting aside on each block, so those businesses within the project area can still receive deliveries. And roughly these areas are in front of Remedy Burger and Accordia. So while refining the design of the project area and identifying the features that we wanted to include, we really thought about our outreach to the businesses and how we were going to engage the public on this. So Josh and I recently finished going door to door to the businesses along the 2 blocks of the project area, handing out flyers and just talking to the business owners and their staff about this project, as well as the project for next summer. We also created a web page about the demonstration project, and that's the site that includes the survey. The CSPDC is hosting that web page, but it links back to the city's page for the HSIP project. And again, our HSIP project links over to the demonstration project page. So that way residents are able to find out about both at the same time. And like I said, we do have a survey posted that will be up through the start of the demonstration project's deployment. And so another consideration for us is, like I said on the previous slide, making sure that we maintain access for the delivery along the 2-block project area, and letting people know that none of the parking that's on the left-hand side of the street will be going away during this demonstration project. The mid-block spot, it kind of splits the difference as far as deliveries, and I think still makes access to all the businesses on that block easily accessible. So the project's going to stay in place for 24 hours during the month of June, and so that means it also will be in place during shop and dine out weekends. And the flexible posts that we are installing to close off that travel lane will remain in place on the weekends. But we plan on spacing the posts 6 feet apart, which means that people will still be able to navigate through them. And we really think that the businesses will be able to put their furniture and other amenities that they place out on the weekends, that they should be able to navigate around the posts. And Josh and I have been encouraging anyone along Beverly Street to, talk to us any one-on-one if they have any concerns that they think of as they've been processing this information. And finally, I will say that, I think overall the feedback that we've gotten from talking to the businesses has been overwhelmingly positive, with many businesses telling us stories of how they make space within their shops for people that do want to sit down. Some businesses have couches, some move things along over for just people to sit down on a ledge. But also then they talk about how they watch people trying to navigate the intersections. And so, we do know that all these things are really critical needs along Beverly Street. We feel like we came up with a design that will benefit the most, which is our businesses, our residents, and our visitors. There's not going to be a perfect design where everyone's going to be happy, but we think we nailed it as best we can, especially with this being our first try. And I think at least my motto on this right now is it's just a month. So, this isn't permanent. This is us trying out something before really committing to it. So that's all I have this evening. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Do we have any questions or comments from City Council?
So part of the project is to collect information from the public, get their
Yes.
feedback, and how are you going to capture?
So we've got the survey that's live. That's the I guess the pre-deployment survey, you know, just asking people's opinion on Beverly Street, you know, what they think they like about it now, what's missing. I think we also have an interactive map where we ask people where they would like to see benches placed. And our intent is to change out those questions once we do deploy the project, but we also are going to be going out and doing intercept surveys while it's out there and talking to people. We presented this to BPAC on.
Wandering around with a clipboard and asking people
Yes,
questions?
yep. Probably like bright green safety vest, as official looking as we can be. But we talked to BPAC the other night about this and presented that as an opportunity where, you know, they can participate in this effort. But yeah, and Josh and I've both stated to the businesses that we are going to be checking in with them during the duration of this and see how things are working for them as well.
I hope open-ended comments can be part of that feedback. Multiple choice, sort of, you know, do you like this or this or this, or what are your three favorite elements? That's helpful, but it's nice to see, just let people talk
Yes.
about what they like or they don't like.
Agreed.
I had one quick question. On the plan features, it mentions new traffic signals and higher visibility crosswalks. Will the walk and cross signals, will they be auditory and visual?
Yes.
And on the higher visibility crosswalks, will they be just reflective paint or electronic?
So the crosswalks will, we're not yet at that point in our design plan, but the most retro reflective material is a thermoplast, which is, you know, the plastic material rather than the beads in the paint.
Right.
You know, but there are considerations, especially with snow plows, you know, you get under that and then you peeled up your crosswalk. So we aren't yet there, but the design will be one of the ones that are the higher visibility designs rather than like the two bars that's all you see as you're approaching. We would go with what's called a ladder style, probably.
Abbey Road style,
Yeah.
white rather than
Yes,
yellow.
yes.
I just wanted to say thank you real quick, was having a business within these two blocks. The fact sheet that you guys made was fantastic. My
Thank you.
employees are very excited. It was very obvious that you guys tried to preemptively think of everything that you possibly could. So we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other comments or questions from council?
No, it looks like it's just such an interesting step. You know, as you said in the beginning of this, you see Beverly as a destination, not a path to somewhere else necessarily. So it'll be great to see it kind of more of a safe intersections and used for pedestrians, like and people dining out and things like that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you.
Wilson. We look forward to seeing the progress on this project. Thank you to everyone in your office. Appreciate it. Well, we are finished with our work session. We're a little bit early, so this meeting is adjourned. I hope to see all of you back at 7 o'clock for our regular meeting. Thank you all. Good evening, everyone. It is now 7 o'clock, and I'd like to call the April 23rd, 2026 regular meeting of the Staunton City Council to order. Please stand as you are able and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic which stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is wonderful to see so many people here this evening. Thank you for being here. This evening's invocation comes to us from Councilwoman Woods.
Thank you, Mayor Edwards. As I would be saying a prayer, and please feel free to join me in this invocation, moment of silence, whichever is applicable if you desire to do so. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight with grateful hearts and a deep sense of responsibility. You have entrusted us to serve, to lead, and to make decisions that impact the lives of many. As we consider this year's budget, we ask for your wisdom to guide us. Help us to be good stewards over the resources placed in our care. Lord, as we face decisions that affect our community, especially those that may place added weight on families, we ask for discernment. Let us balance responsibility with compassion and planning with understanding. Give us the ability to see beyond numbers and remember the people behind them. Strengthen us to make choices that are fair, thoughtful, and rooted in the well-being of all. Let unity be present in this room, even when perspectives differ. Let respect lead our conversations and integrity shape our decisions. We trust you to guide us as we serve this community. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that word. This evening, we get to start with 3 proclamations. I have asked 3 members of City Council to read these. We're going to start off with our Arbor Day proclamation, and Councilor Campbell will be reading this for us. And I believe that the city horticulturalist, Matt Sensabaugh, is here to accept that.
Mayor Edwards. So for the city of Staunton, Virginia, proclamation for Arbor Day, April 24th, 2026. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling cost, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us power, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property value, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas 2026 marks the 50th anniversary of the Tree City USA program, a nationwide initiative that has recognized thousands of communities committed to the planting, care, and celebration of trees. And whereas the city of Staunton is being honored this year for the 30th time as a Tree City USA by the Arbor Day Foundation. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by Staunton City Council that April 24th, 2026 is hereby designated as Arbor Day in the city of Staunton, and City Council urges the residents of Staunton, the region, and the communities across the country to celebrate Arbor Day to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to plant trees to warm the hearts and promote the well-being of this and future generations. In witness whereof, I, Mayor Michelle Edwards, have set my hand and caused the seal of the city to be affixed, adopted to this 23rd day of April 2026. Read by Councilman Campbell.
You made me look good. Thank you, Councilor Campbell. Mr. Sensabaugh, would you like to say a few words for us this evening?
Right. Well, thank y'all for having me.
course.
I know it's a busy night, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. But this is kind of a special year for us, and this is the 30th year that we've been recognized as a Tree City USA, 50th anniversary for the program. We actually sort of celebrated a little bit early. We visited with children in the Hard After School program up at Ware Elementary this afternoon, and they got to plant a tree and do a little activity, making a kite. And then all those kids got to go home with a little redbud seedling that they'll get to plant. The other thing that we're doing for Arbor Day is we've got the 5th graders from Ware Elementary are coming tomorrow. They're going to visit the park where they're going to do some kind of environmental activities and learn about trees. And they're also going to release brook trout fry that they've raised in their classroom. So thank you.
Wow, thank you, Mr. Sensabaugh. That's very exciting. Thank you for everything you do for our city. Yeah. All righty. It is Economic Development Week. And to recognize this week, Councilor Woods will be reading the proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor Edwards.
Ma'am.
City of Staunton, Virginia Proclamation Economic Development Week, May 4th through 8th, 2026. Whereas economic development professionals across Virginia work every day with businesses, educational institutions, government leaders, and community partners to strengthen local economies and ensure vibrant communities for current and future generations. And whereas economic development is a strategic investment that helps create high-quality jobs, attract new businesses, support existing industries, and generate revenues that sustain essential services such as education, transportation, housing, and healthcare. And whereas from July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2024, Virginia recorded more than 900 company announcements, over 85,000 new jobs, and nearly 170 billion in capital investment. And whereas approximately 72% of those announcements came from existing businesses expanding in their communities. And whereas economic development professionals serve as connectors, bringing together residents, elected officials, business leaders, educators, and regional partners to expand opportunity. And whereas Economic Development Week provides an opportunity to recognize the vital role these professionals play in fostering innovation, supporting business success, and improving quality of life. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by Staunton City Council that May 4th through the 8th, 2026 is hereby designated as Economic Development Week. In the city of Staunton, and City Council encourages the residents, businesses, and community partners of Staunton to recognize and celebrate the contributions of economic development professionals who work to expand opportunity, strengthen our economy, and build a prosperous future for all. In witness thereof, I, Michelle Edwards, have set my hand and caused the seal of the city to be affixed, adopted this 23rd day of April, 2026, read by Alice Woods.
Led by Alice Woods. Thank you so much. And I think we have Amanda DeMeo and Jessica Blythe here from our Economic Development Department to accept this proclamation, and hopefully will say a few words for us, or more than a few. Thank you all. Okay. It was all this.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. We recognize economic development is a team sport, and we're very happy that the entire council has been supportive of economic development and your commitment to economic development, as you saw in Alex's presentation and very first item up there with our website and a lot of the things we're doing to increase awareness and working with businesses. So we really appreciate your all support in what we do.
Absolutely.
I'll share too, we sent out yesterday our awards for Enterprise Zone. So we had a total of 18 applications. With our new updated Enterprise Zone incentives, we were able to award 3 projects fully funding. So we're really excited about that and looking forward to an increase in the budget for that next year. As well as we've had great participation in the Wharf Marketing Support Program. So we've gotten 2 applications for that program. We'll continue to get those as we continue to offer those workshops. So thank you all for your support and helping us get those programs initiated and refreshed.
Thank you as well for all of your work. Appreciate it. Thank you. And last, but as we know, not least, we have the Letter Carriers Food Drive, our annual drive to collect food for hungry people in our community. And I see several people here this evening for that effort, and Vice Mayor Arrowood will be reading the proclamation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. City of Staunton, Virginia, proclamation for Letter Carriers Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive Day, which is May 9th, 2026. Whereas every year on the second Saturday in May, letter carriers across the country collect non-perishable food as part of the nation's largest one-day food drive, distributing the donations to local food banks. And whereas the Letter Carriers Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive is just one example of how letter carriers work to make a difference in the lives of those they serve. Since the pilot drive was held in 1991, over 1.9 billion pounds of food have been collected. And whereas we recognize all letter carriers for their hard work and their commitment to their communities, all the food collected in our community stays in our community, and we support carriers' efforts to help those in need in Staunton. And whereas we also recognize the noteworthy milestone of 34 years that the National Letter Carrier Food Drive celebrates in 2026. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by Staunton City Council that May 9th, 2026 is hereby designated as Letter Carriers Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive Day in the city of Staunton, and we encourage the citizens of our community to support letter carriers Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive by placing non-perishable food items for donation to the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank in or near your mailbox on the morning of Food Drive Day. Your letter carrier and volunteers will pick up your donation, and together we can all help feed our hungry. Now, who would like to come up and talk about this
Yes.
a little bit?
Or all of you would like to come forward. Of course, there you go. Go, Lyra.
Okay. So this counted.
No, you're good. You're good. Send me the picture.
It's a little dark.
Here, let's come this way.
Yeah, it's a little dark. You're kind of standing in the dark. Yeah, yeah, right
Much
under the
better.
light. Jeez. Awesome.
I'm just going to be the ringleader tonight. You guys hear from me all the time. I'm so excited. This year we are expanding our partnerships because, as you all know, this is a community effort. And we have sent bags now, advertising bags, all the way from Winchester to Lexington to Lynchburg to Waynesboro, Charlottesville, Harrisonburg. And we have a guest here, Clancy. He's the president of Waynesboro, et cetera's branch over there.
Okay.
And we have a representative from the schools who we have a new partnership with. And we have a member of Blue Ridge Area Food Bank, and my president's here. So I'm just going to let them come up and speak.
Great.
Good evening. My name is Jen Rafter, and I'm a volunteer and food drive manager at Blue Ridge Area Food Bank. I'm here today on behalf of the food bank to express our deep gratitude for the letter carriers and the Staunton community's Stamp Out Hunger efforts. Stamp Out Hunger, held this year on May 9th, is the largest single-day food drive to benefit our food bank and the community. Since Blue Ridge Area Food Bank first began participating in Stamp Out Hunger in 1994, letter carriers and community members have partnered together to support our neighbors with over 2.5 million pounds of food. That is the equivalent of over 2.1 million meals. Staunton has long been a proud champion of Stamp Out Hunger, replenishing our shelves and putting food on families' tables. This year's food drive comes at a time when our food bank is experiencing a higher need than ever before. Currently, 1 in 9 people in the Blue Ridge experiences food insecurity. In the last 6 months of 2025, we saw an average of 177,000 guest visits every month. That is the highest monthly average that we have seen in our 41-year history. We cannot meet this need without community support, and Stamp Out Hunger is a tremendous help. Together, we are solving hunger every day, and thanks to both the letter carriers and the Staunton community supporting Stamp Out Hunger, we can ensure that everyone has enough to eat.
Thank you, Ms. Rafter. Ms. Capuano, good evening.
Good evening. I'm Tina Capuano, Student Services Coordinator for Staunton City Schools, and we are very, very grateful to be part of this partnership. Thank you for bringing us along. We have our Families in Transition Resource Center and Food Pantry at the schools. This year, we've served over 300 families from the Staunton City School community. We could not do that. We don't have the funding for it. So we are very, very grateful for the support of this food drive and our partnership with the food bank. Thank you.
Thank you for your work. Thank you, Ms. Capuano.
How are y'all?
Good, how are you?
Good. I want to thank everybody that's going to help. This is a big thing for our whole community. I also have downtown and at the new Stanton courthouses. They will have barrels this year if anybody wants to drop some there. And Frontline Hobbies downtown will also have a barrel. And I thank everybody for helping. It's such a big help to our community. Thank y'all.
Wonderful. Thank you. All righty.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First, I'd like to thank City Council for making this happen, also for getting the word out, allowing us to place the banner to help with this advertising. And more importantly, thank you to the city of Staunton, to the citizens of this city, because this is about you. I say it every year, and we wouldn't do as well as we did if it wasn't for you. When I first came in as a CCA, to me, the food drive was just riding around, putting the card in the mailbox, picking up food. And then after that, COVID hit, food drive didn't happen because of the pandemic. So for a couple of years, it was just donating money to the food bank. And it wasn't until I was elected the president of our branch and linked up with Miss Cindy Connors, that things really kind of took off. And I realized just how big this can be with networking and donations and getting the bags back. The bags made such a huge difference. So you can most definitely expect a bag this year. That I can tell you. But it's made such a monumental metamorphosis over the years. I think this last year, we outdid our own record as far as the amount of food that was provided to the community. If I'm not mistaken, 46,000 over that.
I don't remember any.
Either way, it was monumental, and every year I want us to strive to do better. We're constantly trying to figure out new ways to get the word out, to motivate our carriers and motivate the citizens to get involved. Like I said, this isn't us that do this. This is the city that does this. We're just a facilitator. So again, thank you all for your help. I look forward to serving you all again this year and many years to come.
Could you repeat the information you told me before the meeting, that we are a small community, but we have collected more food than?
Yeah. So in our postal record, our NALC magazine, every year it has totals for every city in Virginia. And I always breeze through those to kind of see where it is that we line up. We're in the smallest division as far as for the size. And this year, I believe we were third or fourth in the state as far as the amount that we were able to generate for the food bank. So beating out someone like Chesapeake, who is a humongous region, was an extremely high milestone for me to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very proud to be able to go back to my carriers and say, hey, guys, look, this is what we did this year. This is what the city, our little city in Staunton, did this year. We beat out, I mean, it's not about the competition, it's about the mission. The competition, the competition helps drive that. So when I can go to my carriers and say, guys, look what we did this year. We beat out almost every other branch in the state, except the great big ones like Alexandria.
Mm-hmm.
They're leviathans. But for little Staunton to be able to put itself on the map like that, I was extremely proud to be able to say that. So good job, Staunton. Let's beat it. Let's do better this year.
No, let's beat them. I just want to show everybody the blue bag. Expect the blue bag at your doorstep in your mailbox. Fill it up and put it out on May 9th. And some of us, I'm sure, will be tooling around and picking up your bags and dropping them off at the post office. And I look forward to seeing the numbers rise. Thank you all so much for what you do.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. All righty. Well, it's downhill from here, I guess. So next on the agenda is my mayor's report. And tonight, as you know, we will vote on the city's annual budget after a months-long process that began in September 2025. This work has been a deliberate, transparent, and thorough one with documents and figures shared publicly, discussed in open meetings, and shaped through public hearings. This budget reflects the collected effort of a large number of people. It involves our constitutional officers, such as Sheriff Chris Hartless, who is here this evening. I think, no, he usually is clerk of circuit court, the commissioner of the revenue, the treasurer, and the Commonwealth's attorney, John Baber, who's here, as well as the superintendent of schools, Dr. Eric Arizari, the Stanton City School Board, as well as department leaders across the organization, the library and Talking Book Center, Parks and Rec, Public Works, Police, Fire and Rescue, Economic Development, Community Development, Finance, Information Technology, the city attorney, the assessor, tourism, Office on Youth, and on, Human Resources, Court Services, and all of the outside agencies that serve our region. This was the fourth and final budget that I will have the opportunity and privilege of voting on, and it is a monumental undertaking, but it is also the most important responsibility we have as a governing body. For doing all the heavy lifting, I want to extend my sincere thanks to City Manager Leslie Beauregard, the staff in her office, Chief Financial Officer Jesse Moyers, and every department head and team member who developed, refined, and presented their budgets with care and professional stewardship of tax dollars. Your work ensures that we are able to meet the strategic needs of our community while planning responsibly for the future. On behalf of City Council, thank you for your dedication, your expertise, and your commitment to the people of Staunton. Thank you. Any other comments from City Council members?
I just have a shout out for Willow Hughes. It was really cool to read NPR when they featured the local area. It was all about our flood resiliency plan, and Willow was just super well spoken, and it was really cool to see that. So a shout out to her in that department. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Councilor Park.
I participated in the Home and Garden Tour on Saturday, April 18th. And it was quite inspirational to see the time and effort invested in historical preservation in our community and the creation of beautiful natural spaces. One of the homes featured was the Frasers, whom we just honored here for their work in historic preservation. And they have an amazingly curated garden, just a natural, a stunningly beautiful place that they have. There was also a talk on native plants and the history of Gypsy Hill Park. So it was really interesting and useful to hear that information. Along with some of the rest of us, I participated in the celebration of Fire Station number 2, the 20th anniversary on Grubert Avenue. A couple of things stood out to me there, that it's a great example of cooperation between the city and the schools. The station is located on the front side of the Shelburne school property. So that was a wonderful thing to recognize. Also chatting with the officers there and getting a tour of the facility, realizing that the work calls for a more diverse skill set. Medical skills are increasingly important. It's not just firefighting anymore. And that recruiting as a result is more challenging. And so I think our budget includes some increased support for emergency roles. And so that's important. And I just really appreciate what our firefighters do and the role that fire station has played in increasing our safety and our coverage in the city.
Thank you.
I'll just add, I'm excited to check out the new festival this weekend. So the first year of the Queen City West Arts and Cultural Festival is this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And there are workshops, performances, live mural paintings spread out across the city at different establishments, including the Art Hive on Spring Hill Road, Stanton Makerspace on Jefferson, Silverline Theater on Lewis, and Gypsy Hill Park, just to name a few. So yeah, I hope they have great success and we get to showcase, the creativity and diversity that makes our community so special and unique. You can go to queencitywestarts.org to get more information and to purchase workshop tickets.
Or visit their Facebook page. Thank you, Counselor Campbell.
I have one more thing.
Yes,
I'm
Counselor.
sorry. I also just want to acknowledge that there are a lot of people in our community that are hurting right now and sad. We lost Steve Moore this past week. He not only was he a graduate of Lehigh, but he's also a retired chemistry teacher. He was a coach, and I don't think it would be an overstatement to say he touched the lives of thousands of people in this community, including Blake. And so he was just the best of us, and he'll be missed.
Thank you for bringing that up. It's important.
So, Mayor Edwards, I would like to also ditto what Councilor Oberholzer said about Firehouse Station number 2. And I also want to recognize that the Stanton Redevelopment and Housing Authority will have their first annual Health and Wellness Fair, and that is on Saturday, May 9th from 10 to 2:30. It's a free event. It will be held at the Booker T. Washington Community Center. They have their focus this year is on mind, body, and spirit. And they will have different demonstrations, even some yoga and some, maybe I think massages. So know anybody to come on out and sharing that that resource. And they will have a mini market, smoothie shots, and dental kits and more. Also, if everybody was through.
Yes.
Anybody?
Well, I did Blake, you go ahead. We'll go to.
I'll let him finish.
I think we're going to say the same thing.
No, it's.
Saturday evening, Vice Mayor Arrowood and Miss Amanda DeMaio and myself had the honor of attending the fire department's annual dinner and awards banquet, and got to witness a compilation of what they do in a year's work. And I have to say it was extremely impressive. The calls they go on and the work that they do and the training that they do is just absolutely amazing. And they honored, Chief Jason Ball honored a firefighter of the year, Stanley Barber, and also Officer of the Year, Mike Lyle. And they were just two impressive people, and I can see why they got those awards, and they were voted on by the firefighters in the department. And the admiration that they showed toward those firefighters was just really amazing and impressive. So thank you very much for the wonderful evening, and thank you for the work that you do for the city.
I was going to say, I like the shout out form you did there. I was fortunate enough to attend the band tryouts for Stanton School Band there, and we've seen Mr. Wilson of the high school and Mr. Nesmith of the middle school have really revolutionized our band program here, and it was a crowd of kids trying out for the thing, trailing out of the building, going through. I saw their spouses there helping out with it. There were a bunch of volunteer kids there helping, like, teach them how to hold it and blow into the wind instruments and all that kind of thing. And it was just, they have to turn, like suggest different instruments because everyone wants the trombone for some reason. Yeah, so it's just huge to see what's going on. And they're hoping for donations to bump up their level of instruments. So if anyone can help with that at all, if you've got an interest in band and would like to see it go forward with that, but it's just great to see what's happening.
Excellent. Thank you, Vice Mayor Wood. Counselor Woods.
Mayor Edwards, the nominations committee met on the first Tuesday of the month. And I would like to move to recommend that the Stanton City Council appoint Stephen Seaver and Dwight George to the Valley Community Services Board for 3-year terms commencing May 1st, 2026 and ending April 30th, 2029. And Susan Richardson, Sheriff Chris Hartless, Commonwealth Attorney John Baber, Public Defender Dwayne Barron, Judge Robin Mayer, and Judge Susan Reed to the Blue Ridge Criminal Justice Justice Board for 2-year terms commencing May 1st, 2026 and ending April 30th, 2028.
Thank you very much, Counselor Woods. Mr. Blair, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Woods,
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd,
Aye.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Overholzer,
Aye.
Ms. Park,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Arrowood,
Aye.
Mayor Edwards.
Aye.
Carries.
Thank you very much to the Nominations Committee who does the interviewing. Appreciate it. Moving on to item A, the consent agenda. Per procedure memorandum number 14, it is the policy of City Council to have routine, non-controversial items placed on a consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda will be voted on in one motion. If separate discussion of an item is requested by any member of council, it shall be removed and considered separately at the end of the regular meeting agenda. Do any members of council wish to remove an item to be placed at the end of the regular meeting agenda for separate consideration? All righty, with no such request, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Councilor Woods. Sir,
Second.
thank you. Any discussion? Mr. Blair, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Woods,
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd,
Aye.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Overholzer,
Aye.
Ms. Park,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Arrowood,
Aye.
Mayor Edwards.
Aye. Thank you, Mr.
Motion
Blair.
carries.
All righty. Moving on to item B, we have a public hearing and consideration of an ordinance authorizing a lease agreement between the City of Staunton and Happy Birthday America Incorporated. Ms. Beauregard.
John Blair, City Attorney, will handle this item this evening.
Good evening, Mayor Edwards, Council. Hopefully this won't result in too many fireworks.
Oh, God.
Before you is the annual lease for the Happy Birthday America celebration in Gypsy Hill Park. It runs June 29th through July the 5th. There's also an additional day for the pageant. It's for $1 fee for the lease. Happy to answer any questions. There are no terms that have changed since last year except for the dates.
Mr. Blair from council. Is anyone here from Happy Birthday America that would like to speak?
Anyone at all?
Anyone at all?
Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Deeds.
This guy, good evening.
Yes.
Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, city staff. My name's Andrew Dietz and I'm the president of Happy Birthday America. And I just want to start out by thanking you all, council, staff, and the entire city of Staunton for all the support that has been provided over these last 8 years since Wilson Fairchild kicked off and got us back on this track again. By the way, Will and Langdon's usually here. Will sometimes weren't able to make it tonight because they're doing their live release for their new album, American Songbook, which if you haven't heard, it's going to be really fantastic. So, but anyway, this group is 20 people strong, volunteers, and we work all year, every month to plan this event for our 4th of July. This year, we're exceptionally excited because of it being the 250th anniversary, the semi-quincentennial. I think if I got that correctly, but somebody can fact check me if you'd like to. So we got a lot of special stuff planned for this year. First and foremost, so we kick off with the beauty pageant on the Sunday before, and then our kickoff event on the 3rd is going to feature speaker Pastor Derek Amarode. But then we have Red Camel Collective signed up to perform for us, and they are Heather Barry, who's the lead singer. They just performed at the Grand Ole Opry, and she was named International Bluegrass Singer of the Year this past year. And she's a local person, so they're going to be performing for us on the kickoff event on the 3rd. But then we move into the July 4th and all the events that happen on the July 4th, and we're super excited about the parade this year. We partnered with a organizational, Capitol Wings, that's going to do a flyby with a World War II retired plane, and is going to do a couple loops around the parade route before we get this thing started. Or right when we get it started. So super excited about that, as well as we're having the 29th Infantry Marching Band join us again this year. And of course, all the Stonewall Brigade Band at 2 o'clock. Then all the music starts over at the ballpark at 3 o'clock. This year, as I believe you all know, or hopefully you know, Jimmy Fortune is joining us. His first time performing on that stage since 1994. So he is super excited. We've done some videos and some social media posts with him. He's super excited. It's going to be a great event. And just by all the emails, the messages, the vendors, the parade participants that are signing up already, it's going to be big. We're really excited. And again, can't thank the city enough for your support. And then, of course, it all wraps up with our fireworks display, which should be a pretty good one this year. So we'll see. But I'm open to any questions, but just can't thank you enough for your consideration and support of our event.
It's fantastic. I always just ask, are you going to make sure that it's not too hot that day?
Yeah. Good Lord willing, we'll
My
do our
only
best.
question
Yeah.
every year.
That's right.
They're looking forward
Looking forward to it. It's going to be fantastic.
I do have a question for the parade. Do you know how many entries you got? Do you guys cap it?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So we typically cap it around 150, and it's all dependent upon the space and how, because it lines up on Thorn Rose. Now, we've talked to the police department, and we can do some other things on other streets to kind of work that out, but that's generally been the design. But that said, we've had upwards of 180, and I think we're getting close to 150 already. So which is very early for us. So yeah, we're really excited about it, but you know, depending on the size, and it'll probably be in the 180, 185 range. But that 2 hour time frame is about, 10 to about 11:30, 11:45 is kind of what we target. But
yeah, having had something specific to do with the Christmas parade last year, we said, pick your 5 favorite Mustangs.
Right.
Jeeps.
That was there years ago, prior to Happy Birthday America. You may or may not know, but there was you could pay a few dollars and put your car in the parade, and we kind of put it into that, and we capped it and wanted to make sure it's exciting for everybody. But yeah, so
it seems like more and more of these celebrations are going toward choreographed drones rather than are you still going with the traditional fireworks?
Traditional fireworks. So over COVID, we did look into that. And at that time, incredibly expensive. And as you know, we're nonprofit, we're dependent upon the generous donations of our sponsors here locally. And we've been able to put a really good show on with traditional fireworks, as long as they don't get held up, at the ports and we haven't gone the drone route, but we did look into it during that COVID time period. And I'll also say real quick that we are listed on the 250th anniversary block party, which is a national kind of website thing for events that are happening across the U.S. for celebrating the 250th anniversary of our independence. So we're one of the few events that's listed for Virginia at this point. So
Congratulations.
exciting stuff.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Dietz.
Thank you.
We do have a public hearing for this. So in a moment, I will open the public hearing for item B. This hearing provides an opportunity for citizens and others to comment on this specific agenda item. If you wish to speak, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and we ask that you limit your remarks to 5 minutes. I will notify you if your time expires. For those joining us on Zoom, please raise your hand now if you wish to speak. We will alternate between speakers in the room and those participating on Zoom. As a reminder, comments should be limited to this item, item B. Once everyone who wishes to speak has had an opportunity to do so, I will close the public hearing. Would anyone like to say a few words? Have any comments about this item? Do we have anyone with their hand raised on Zoom?
We have no hands raised.
Close the public hearing. Would anyone like to make a motion to pass? I do like to bang that, yes. Anyone like to make a motion to pass this ordinance for Happy Birthday America?
Mayor Edwards. I move that City Council adopt the ordinance authorizing the approval of the lease agreement between the City of Staunton and Happy Birthday America Incorporated with further authorizing the city manager to execute the lease agreement with such modifications and in final form as approved by the city attorney.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Yes. Blair, will you be calling the roll?
Sure. Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Miss Woods.
Aye.
Mr. Overholzer,
Aye.
Ms. Park,
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Arrowood,
Aye.
Mayor Edwards,
Aye.
carries.
Thank you, Mr. Blair. And thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Dietz. Appreciate you being here. All righty.
Bang, we're done.
Takes us, see you on July 4th, Andrew. Takes us up to item C, a public hearing and consideration of an ordinance authorizing the lease agreement between the City of Staunton and Staunton Baseball Incorporated for the limited use of the baseball field and operation of concession rights. Ms. Beauregard.
So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Blair, but before I do that, I just want to say that approval of this lease should be a home run.
Oh!
Boy.
Touche.
Thank
Oh,
you.
wow. Mr.
I'm
Blair.
It took me like 2 minutes to come up with
Upstage
that.
you.
I tell you what.
Wow, Leslie.
I'll never do that again.
No, I mean, no, that was unprecedented. Well done.
Was.
Okay, are you going to recover, Mr. Blair?
I am. Thank you very much, Mayor Edwards, council. Again, just like last year, the lease before you is for a term from May 16th to August the 9th for the Staunton Braves to use Moxie. The major change this year is last year they did ask for permission to hold some musical events before some, I believe 4 games, but this year that's not
Okay.
included within the lease. Happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Blair? All righty, I think we're good. We'll start the public hearing. I will now open the public hearing. So if you wish to speak, please approach the podium and we will alternate between individuals physically present and those that have their hands raised on the Zoom platform. Again, this public hearing is for item C only. Once everyone who wishes to speak has had the opportunity, I will close the public hearing. Would anyone like to speak about the lease with Moxie Stadium? Is there anyone with their hands raised on Zoom?
Madam Mayor, there are no hands raised.
I will close this public hearing. And I will entertain a motion. Yes, ma'am.
Madam Mayor, I move that City Council adopt the ordinance authorizing approval of the lease agreement between the City of Staunton and Staunton Baseball Incorporated for the limited use of the baseball field and operation of concession rights beginning May 16th, 2026, and further authorizing the city manager be authorized to execute the lease agreement with such modifications and in final form as approved by the city attorney.
Thank you, Councilor Park. Would there be a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on this up? Mr. Blair, would you please call the roll?
Counselor Campbell,
Aye.
Counselor Woods,
Aye.
Counselor Overholzer,
Aye.
Counselor Park,
Aye.
Counselor Shepherd,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Arrowood,
Aye.
Mayor Edwards.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Blair. I find this hard to believe, but we're already at matters from the city manager.
No, we have 2 budget items.
We have 2 budget items, but I don't have them
Two
here.
big things.
I was like, this can't be possible.
No.
Okay, on to item D. We have the consideration of an ordinance to increase the water user fee, the sewer user fee, the refuse user fees, and landfill fees as included in the fiscal year 2027 proposed budget. Ms. Beauregard.
Yes, Jesse Moyers, the CFO, is here this evening to do a quick overview of the fees before you all make the motion to consider these this evening.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. We had a work session on March 12th to talk about the enterprise funds. It was part of the budget introduction, March 26th, and then we held our public hearing on April 9th. The proposed water fee is proposed to go from $4.06 per 100 cubic feet to $4.28. That's a 5.42% increase. It provides a little over $222,000 of additional revenue. The bi-monthly water charge will go from for the minimum bill, $20.30 to $21.40. The bulk water miscellaneous for water customers will go from $10.50 to $11 for 750 gallons, and then the minimum charge will go from $21 to the $22. On the sewer, The rate is increasing from $5.60 per 100 cubic feet to $6. That's a 7.14% increase, which provides a little over $300,000 of additional annual revenue. The minimum bi-monthly water charge will go from $28 to $30 for sewer. That's for sewer, not water. That's a mistake. Increase in the flat rate for city sewer customers that do not have water service will go from $56 to $60 for 2 months. Solid waste fees, residential will go from $24.01 per month to $27.50. That is a percent of 14.54%. Light commercial will go from $54.51 to $62.44 per month. Heavy commercial, if you're inside the central business district, will go from $146.52 to $167.84 per month. If you're outside of the CBD, it will go from $115.32 to $132.10 per month. Unscheduled special pickups will go from $120.75 to $138.32. This will provide approximately $442,000 of additional revenue. The next, these are not Staunton fees, but we have to approve the Augusta Regional Landfill tipping fees. It's Waynesboro, Augusta, and Staunton. And the proposed increases are as follows. Commercial will go from $52 to $65 a ton. Commercial yard waste, $35 to $50. Mulch will go, is staying at the $20. Off-road and heavy equipment tires will go from $215 to $250 per ton. Car tires that are off the rim are going from $4 to $5. If they're on the rim, they're going from $6 to $8. Commercial ag tires are going from $12 to $15, and Freon bearing appliances are going from $12 to $15. Any questions?
Nothing has changed since the last time we.
No.
Did wonder what that little helmet was in the square. All righty. Does anyone have any questions for Miss Moyers?
Remind me when they're at the landfill, they were making changes in the entrance where the weighing station is and all that. Did they give us a timeline for that, when that's going to be?
I believe they're going out to bid in the next month or so. Hopefully it's been a little bit delayed, but.
About the commercial scale that they're going to move back further into the landfill. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That would definitely be.
Yeah,
an
it was later. It
improvement.
was later this next month or next. Yeah.
I believe it's mid-May, mid to end of May.
Okay.
Any other questions for Ms. Moyers? All righty.
Not a question, but I'll just say that it's never fun to increase fees, but I think it's far preferable to have predictable, consistent, small increases over occasional, as we did a couple of years ago, with significant and large increases. People like to have a predictable path, and particularly with the rate study that we're going to be starting, I think that helps increase transparency and demonstrate that we have a data-driven process and more predictable and smaller increases annually, which I think is what people expect. So the average net increase for water, sewer, trash for the average resident is going to be $87 a year. So it's a reasonable increase, and I think it's the right thing to do.
Thank you, Councilor Vohota.
It would be nice in the future to have us get to a point where we can do small incremental increases, maybe along the lines of saying the published rate of inflation last year was 2 point whatever, and go with that, because how many years has it been for sewer? Something like 14 or 12.
Prior to the 2 years ago, it was 12 years.
Yeah, and we were behind just about the average rate of inflation, and all of that too. So it just seems like it would be easier pill to swallow.
All righty. Thank you, Ms. Moyers.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt the ordinance amending water user fees, sewer fees, landfill fees, refuse fees.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I move that council adopt ordinances amending water user fee rates, sewer user fee rates, refuse fee rates, and landfill rates effective July 1, 2026, as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Woods. Any other discussion about this? Mr. Blair, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Woods,
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd. Aye. Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Overholzer,
Aye.
Ms. Park,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Arrowood,
Aye.
Mayor Edwards.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Blair. On to item E, we have a consideration of an ordinance to establish a budget for fiscal year 2027, July 1st, 2026 to July 30th, 2027, totaling $168,670,911, and for the capital improvements plan for FY27 to FY31. Ms. Beauregard.
I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Moyers.
Right. The FY27 budget was introduced to City Council at the March 26th meeting. We had a presentation and public hearing on April 9th. It's being brought back to you tonight for adoption. As you said, it's a $168,670,911, which is an approximately 2.51% increase over FY27. The general fund portion of that is $83,470,150, or a 4.59% increase. The changes from the proposed budget increases the general fund by $150,000. That implements the 1.85% hazardous duty multiplier for our first responders. Increases interest income by $100,000. Increases the use of fund balance by $50,000, and decreases variance operating expenditure lines by $66,270. Enterprise fund changes to cover the additional VRS expense for the water fund is $19,805. The sewer fund is $2,516, and environmental fund is $11,702. Those were the only changes from the proposed budget.
Thank you, Ms. Moyers. Questions from council? Comments?
The hazardous duty multiplier, what is the annual amount? 220 some thousand that is going to be required to fund that.
It is between about 230, 240, 240,000.
How was that calculated?
It is received from the VRS. What you do is you take your current rate and you add 1.13% to the current VRS rate. So our rate for FY27 and 28 will actually be lower than it was for FY25 and 26, just because the rate for VRS decreased about 2%. So even with the hazardous duty multiplier, we will be less than the current rate that we have.
That was the other question I was going to ask. Recent history of changes, annual increases, say over the last.
The rate's good for 2 years, and our current rate is 16.77, and it's dropping down to 14 something. So with this 1.13, it'll be up 15%. So
The benefit for employees who fit this category of hazardous duty is that they get enhanced retirement benefits. Plus, I think it's participation in long-term care plan. There's some other benefits.
they get a richer retirement plan. I think about half the localities in the state of Virginia have implemented the 1.85. Those local to us are Harrisonburg and Rockingham. The jail is implementing in FY27 using their decrease in the VRS rate to offset that.
From what I read on the VRS website, the average employee in this category can expect $17,800 additional in their retirement pay annually, as if they're part of this hazardous duty multiplier. So I hope that we make this part of our recruiting and that it will help attract candidates. I know that's a challenge for police and fire and other comparable kinds of positions, and I hope we'll make it clear that this is essentially a lifelong benefit, significant benefit.
It is definitely an attraction for those that are more seasoned and well into their career.
Thank you. Thank you, Counselor Overholzer. Anyone else? All right. Thank you, Ms. Moyers. I will entertain a motion. Adopt the proposed ordinance.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Counselor Rehotzer.
I move to adopt the proposed ordinance as presented, establishing and approving a budget for the city of Staunton for fiscal year 2027, totaling $168,670,911, and fixing other tax rates and fees as proposed, advertised, and considered for public hearing, and adopt the fiscal year 2027-2031 capital improvement plan as presented.
Thank you, Counselor Rehotzer. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Mr. Blair, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Woods,
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd,
Aye.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Overholzer,
Aye.
Ms. Park,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Arrowood,
Aye.
Mayor Edwards.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Blair. Appreciate it. Now this takes us to matters from the city manager.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Beauregard.
Yeah, thank you, Mary Edwards. All my updates are Earth related. The first is Earth Day is on Saturday at Gypsy Hill Park from 11 to 3. So come and enjoy the festivities. There's lots going on in the city apparently this week. You can get more information at earthdaystanton.org. And then I have some quick updates on our Adopt a Spot program. There's a new group, Brookdale Senior Living, that's adopted the area around the bandstand in Gypsy Hill Park. And there are 5 groups that have planned or completed a cleanup to coincide with Earth Day and or Clean the Bay Day. And those are Friends of the Staunton Public Library, the Musselman Family, the Trinity Church, the Augusta Bird Club, and Brookdale Senior Living. And Clean the Bay Day is May 2nd, which is a Saturday, which is next weekend. And that will bring many cleanup volunteers who are not formally part of our program, the Adopt a Spot program. Tiger Solar already completed their Clean the Bay Day cleanup and pulled 19 bags of trash from the stretch of Lewis Creek on Commerce. And the most interesting piece of trash was a Fisher-Price toy car.
Wow.
We should have lots of interesting data that we can share after the larger cleanup on the 2nd. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you very much. Our final item on the agenda is matters from the public. This portion of the meeting is set aside for council to hear comments from citizens and others on a wide variety of topics. A copy of the Staunton City Council's Matters from the Public guidelines is available in paper form on the desk by the side door and online on the city's website. We ask that you please familiarize yourself with those guidelines before speaking. If you would like to address council, please come forward to the podium or raise your hand on the Zoom. When it's your turn, please state your name and address for the record and limit your remarks to 5 minutes. I will let you know if your time expires. As a reminder, this is a time for council to listen. If you're seeking a response or a follow-up to a question or comment, please speak with the city manager, Leslie Beauregard, or a member of council following the meeting. If anyone would like to speak, please approach the podium or raise your hand on Zoom.
My name is Aaron Barmer, Staunton, Virginia. I'd like to thank the gentleman that runs the flowers and the trees for the city. He does a great job. Also like to congratulate Shelburne Middle School and Staunton High School for their bands were recognized recently. They got top state honors. Reading right now from Rocktown Now, Jacqueline Dobrin. Staunton City Schools musicians earned top state honors. Students from Staunton High School and Shelburne Middle School received superior ratings, the highest possible distinction at the Virginia Band and Orchestra Directors Association Concert Performance Assessment. According to Shelburne Band Director Charlie Nesmith, both 7th and 8th grade bands will receive VBODA Virginia Honor Band status after also having strong representation at the All-District Band event. Quote, this award has only been available to middle schools for the past 2 years, and Shelburne has received it both years, unquote, Nesmith said. Shelburne students also reach new milestones in performance difficulty. The 7th grade band performed a grade 3 piece at the assessment, a first for a 7th grade ensemble in the district, while the 8th grade band performed a grade 4 selection, a level that exceeded the repertoire presented by many high school groups at the event. At the high school level, the Staunton High School Symphonic Band also made history during the 2026 assessment. The ensemble became the first band in Virginia to perform Heart on Fire by composer Viet Quang, a grade 5 work commissioned by the College Band Directors National Association. Band director John Wilson said the group earned a perfect score in every caption and category from all adjudicators. SHS's choir program also added to the school's success, receiving a superior rating at its March choral assessment. The chamber singers set a new school record by performing at the highest possible difficulty level in Virginia. Because both the school's top band and choir ensembles earned superior ratings, Staunton High School will be recognized as a blue ribbon school for music by the Virginia Music Educators Association. The award is given only to schools whose leading ensembles achieve the highest level of performance. It marks just the second time in school history the honor has been awarded and the first time under the Staunton High School name. Quote, this recognition reflects the daily commitment our students and music educators make to their craft, unquote. Superintendent Dr. Eric Irizarry said, quote, they show up ready to work, support one another, and take pride in representing our schools, unquote. Congratulations to Mr. Nesmith and his hardworking students. I was a choir student myself and have quite a soft spot for students that go into choir. It's hard work. I'm so pleased that the budget is over, and I'm sure you all are. Thank you all for your hard work, and thank you, Counselor Woods, for the spirit of your invocation. I hope that as this council approaches summer and recesses, that the spirit of Counselor Wood's invocation is never far from your minds and never far from your hands. It certainly will not be far from mine. And it is my intention to let everyone within the sound of my voice know that the city has a need to provide overnight coverage for people who are either in dire straits, who are arriving here with no other place to lay their head, and do not have to, choose not to interface with police. There must be a place for people to charge their phone, clean themselves, use the bathroom, get a snack, have water, have recourse to medical attention that does not involve police or social services if they do not wish it. And it must happen in the overnight hours. I'm going to make that happen. And I encourage the city and all city partners to be alert that radical care is coming to Staunton with or without your help.
Thank you, Mr. Barmer. Do we have any hands raised on Zoom?
We have no hands raised.
Would anyone else like to speak this evening? And no other hands raised.
No hands raised.
This session of the Staunton City Council is adjourned.